Alright, I'm back working on Grandpa's R again. Since the last time I did a video, I've done a little more stuff. I don't remember if I put this in the last or not, but I did get all new studs for the manifolds. Got that cleaned up, ready for gaskets and stuff. You see I got the side cover gasket on. I pulled any of the studs that pulled out when I was taking the plate off. I ran a dye down on those and cleaned up the threads. The ones that stayed on there, as best I could, I ran the dye on those and cleaned those up. Over here we have one new stud, because in the process of trying to clean it up, it's coarse thread into the crankcase, fine thread for the nuts to hold the plate on. Somehow I inadvertently grabbed the wrong dye and screwed up the threads. So I went to my local Napa and said, hey, I need one of these. And the guy went and he said, I don't know. And he went and looked, dug around, did his thing, came back and he says, well, you must be in luck because I got one. It's not exactly perfect. The let me see if I can zoom in here a little bit. No, the other button. There we go. Oh. Oh boy. So there's a little flat shoulder area between the fine thread that's out here and the coarse thread that's in the crankcase. The coarse thread portion was a little longer. That flat space was a little bigger, therefore a little less fine thread. But overall length was the same. The nuts stick out a little bit anyway. Once you get them tight, it's going to be just fine. Something else that I did, and I don't need any comments from the peanut gallery about how good I did or bad I did or anything, but I did get using my Harbor Freight, Horrible Freight safety wire pliers and safety wire. I did actually twist and put actual safety wire on the connecting rod bolts on all four of them, which is, yeah, there might not be enough turns per inch. I might not have wrapped it tight enough around the bolt heads, blah blah blah. If you got a negative comment, keep it to yourself, because I know it's not perfect, but it's got to be better than the baling wire that was on there that I put on there 20 years ago when I was a lot younger and a lot less conscientious about my mechanic and stuff. So anyway, so that's done. Projects for tonight, I still got a tub full of rocker arms to get cleaned up. I'm gonna work on that so we can get those rocker arms plopped back down in here and get these cylinder blocks bolted down, and then get that done. If the putty dries, my son and I have been working on a set of cornhole boards. That's what we call them in Indiana, cornhole. I've heard them called bags and whatever. Anyhow, we might be going a little overboard on how nice we're trying to make these things, because I've been sanding and sanding and sanding, and this tub of putty, which is down to about here now. There's one at the tub, down to about, yeah, down in here somewhere. It was like almost full when we started using that. We basically completely used up that, and I would not use that stuff ever again. This stuff here works pretty good, and it is water soluble, so if it gets a little thick, you see that down there, nice and creamy in there now. This stuff was almost solid when we started, and I used a screwdriver and a little bit of water and started stirring it up and adding water and stirring it up, and it's just been sitting out here in the garage and 90 some degree heat. That water's just been soaking in, and now it spreads like warm butter. But I mean, any little imperfections I feel. We've been going back and see, I feel a little bump there that anyway, trying to make a silk purse out of a sow's ear out of this, because I didn't buy the best plywood, I didn't buy the best 2x4s, and we got to put together. I was like, God, that doesn't look very good. Well, let's put a little putty on the screw holes and stuff, and well, that made it look better, but then it made the areas that didn't look horrible before we fixed the really bad areas look worse. And oh boy, yeah, just one thing after another. And but I'm hoping when I get done that it's nice and smooth, and when the wife and daughter paint it, they've got a really nice, smooth, clean canvas to work with, and they get a good coat of paint on it and put their little designs and stuff on there like they want to do. Yeah, hopefully they turn out really nice. But I've also been working on this bad boy. This was a $50-$60 auction bid, yay for me thing. Mom and Dad live on a farm at the end of the power lines. In fact, when they put the house in, the rural electric company had to add poles to get wire to the house. So if they lose power anywhere on that part of the grid, Mom and Dad are in the dark, and they are 78 years old. And I can't in good conscience have my mom and dad sitting in the house in the middle of the winter with no electricity of any kind. 5,000 running watts. That'll run a couple space heaters. One anyway. If it'll run one, put that in the bedroom, close the doors, have heat, you know. Yeah. Of course, if they're out of power in the wintertime and the whole house gets cold except for the one room they're in, refrigerator stuff will be fine. If it's not, put it out in the garage, you know, where it's freezing. So, but the problem is, you can read it, Centurion by Generac. I still haven't figured out who built the engine. I think Generac might build their own engines. The problem what we're having is over here with the carbon maker, right there. That bad boy leaks. There's one O-ring between the bowl and the main body that I don't think it's leaking there. I honestly think the needle valve is leaking. I actually talked to Generac tonight, their parts line. Generac doesn't sell a rebuild kit for that carburetor. They'll sell me a whole new carburetor for $65, but they won't sell me a rebuild kit for, you know, with a couple gaskets and a needle valve and a few, you know. Anyway, if anybody out there, if any of my few subscribers out there that watch this, see this, know anywhere where a guy can get parts, carburetor parts for one of these things, let me know. Leave a comment down below, whatever. I found on Amazon, I think I can buy a complete, probably made in China, out of melted down beer cans, a whole new carburetor assembly for like $22 on Amazon. So I'm gonna try and there's an electric company here close to town that's a Generac dealer. I'm gonna go through them and see if they can get me a kit. If they can't get me a kit, I'm gonna buy one of those off the freaking chart $20 Amazon carburetors and put a new carburetor on it and see if that fixes it. It's considerably better than it was when it had a lot of fuel leaks before I bought it. Worked on a little bit. Aaron thought everything was good. Took it down to Dad's. First time he used it, it leaked oil like, to use his expression, pouring piss out of a boot. So I brought it back last weekend. Been messing with it. Got it down to where if you turn the gas on, if it's not running, it's got to drip, drip, drip. I don't think it drips when it's running because I think it consumes more gasoline than it drips. But it still leaks, and On a positive note, every time I've tried to start it, you pull the choke out, first pull of the rope, it fires up, push the choke back in, and the thing just purrs. So that part of the dependability, A-okay with for keeping mom and dad safe. I just got to get the fuel leak figured out. So yeah, if anybody knows where I can get a rebuild kit for a Centurion by Generac Power Systems, the model number is a 55771 generator. I forget. I got the carburetor number written down in the house, but anyway, I am going to get back to getting my hands all smelly nasty, unless I can find some gloves. Mama would love it if I could find some gloves. I'm going to get those things cleaned up, play around in the gasoline, get those cleaned up. And I think the nuts to hold those on are down in there too, because they were kind of nasty. But get those scrubbed up a little bit. Get those back over here in the motor. Yeah, I know, Mr. Shop teacher, it's an engine, not a motor. But get those in there, get that thing bolted down. Might even go so far as to pick that thing up, get it bolted down tonight. At least get it started on there. I really would like to have this thing back together and purring like a kitten by the end of this month. But to do that, I gotta get her done. And standing around doing what I'm doing right here and there, right here at this, making videos, that ain't getting done. So I'm gonna get after it, and I'll be back.